Hey everybody, we're here with Ian Smith from Codemasters Racing. He's showing off Dirt Showdown. How you doing, Ian?
Really good, man. How are you?
Good. We also have Ryan Davis.
I'm in the back seat. Drew's in the front seat.
That's right.
This is so much fun. I get to see him take control here.
And I'm shotgun in the front as well.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
The car metaphor is now complete.
In America.
Yeah.
But right-hand drive here because Codemasters Racing, obviously.
Exactly.
Ian, I wanted to, Drew, I apologize for being a backseat driver right out the gate here.
Do it.
But Ian, I guess my fundamental question here, and we're looking at a replay of a race right now, which is kind of answering that question. But what is it that's separating this Dirt Showdown from kind of the numbered dirt games? Like, what was it ultimately that you guys were aiming for this that kind of led to that split?
Sure. Yeah. So the mentality that we had after Dirt 3 was done with, and we got all the sort of critical reception for that, and we looked at some of the feedback from the fans, was that really there's sort of two games in the box. There's an action sports type game in there, and then there's also the sort of more hardcore semi-rally experience that sort of caters to the people who've followed from sort of the days of Colin McRae all the way through. And there were really sort of two different experiences there. One that was sort of the Gymkhana Ken Block aspect, and that sort of really ticks a bunch of different boxes that we're trying to supply the action sports type players this time around. Certainly not trying to alienate the people who've followed the franchise for a long time, but this is an experience where we can be really brash, we can be a little bit over the top, and it's more unapologetic about that sort of brash aspect and the sort of the pyro, the amping things up to 11 and sort of being a little bit wacky with stuff is really at home in Showdown.
So if you are the hardcore, rally racing, simulation fan, do not feel like a Dirt 4 is not going to feature that stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. Dirt 4 is on the way. I mean, we can't really give too many details about that right now, but we also kind of think that we've chosen the key gameplay aspects for Showdown based on things that we think will apply to anybody who likes a racing game. We're trying to show off three key play styles, so speed, style, and destruction. And I think those are things that really speak to anybody who likes a racing game, whether they're into the sim aspect or something that's a little bit more fun straight out of the box.
Yeah, those sound all right. Those sound like good features to feature in a racing game.
Yeah, so they're reflected in different gameplay styles. So there's racing, which is probably the thing that's the most similar to what you've seen in the franchise already. But they're a little bit more aggressive. The rule book's sort of been thrown out a little bit. And there's a lot more aggressiveness, a bit more contact.
I mean, clearly we also have this kind of gumball rally, road warrior collection of vehicles that are racing here as well.
Yeah, so this is one of the destruction modes. This is called 8-ball. So where the tracks cross over, for obvious reasons, this is called 8-ball because of the figure 8 sort of cloverleaf type tracks. And that was a conscious choice because one of the things that we find, in particular with online, is when you kick off a game and then somebody's leading into the first corner, and you kind of think it's a foregone conclusion. They've already, they've won the race because they're ahead in that lap. Yeah. People then drop out of the session, and it's no fun for anybody. So we've tried to create a bunch of things in all of our modes where we combat that. And the figure 8s really help because somebody can be leading all the way to the third lap, and then suddenly they're blasted out of nowhere by the place 4 driver. And then everybody else is in with a chance of winning it. It's sort of a frantic end to the race.
Well, it lets you have that upending element without it feeling contrived or like the AIs just decided to punish you at a moment's notice. A little more kind of naturalistic.
I think it's once you get your hands on the game, you'll feel that it's very much an emergent experience. Right. So any race that you play, you can play maybe 15, 20 times, and you get a really different experience. So I think it's sort of part of the fun to feel like on some occasions you're being punished, and it's like, oh man, they've just stolen that right from my grasp. And then other occasions you're sort of ruling the roost and you're knocking everybody else out of the way. So yeah, I think there's sort of a bit of a play-off there, but there's also a strategic element to our race modes. So, there are risk versus reward type choices to be made about split routes, ramps and jumps. We're going to be putting obstacles in our race game modes where, you can nudge drivers in front of tire blocks and barrels and stuff like that. and that's going to slow them down a little bit. And equally, you can boost ahead of them. We're introducing a nitrous boost, which again is grounded in reality. It's not too outlandish, but it adds another element of strategy to these game modes. It gives it a little bit of depth.
Okay.
So we've been obviously watching a replay here. Let's jump into a little live play to mix up, see how different a second run at this course can look.
So yeah, this is 8-ball. I mean, it's fairly self-explanatory. It's first of the line wins, but each player's health is shown with the health bar over them there, so you've got an opportunity to take them out.
So is that just like 3 big hits? Is that how that's divvied up there? Or?
No, it does deplete quite granularly. For the sake of this demo, it's really likely that you're going to get through to the end of the race, but in the final game, there's going to be that real risk that if you don't play your cards right, you could be knocked out, and there's that chance that you're not going to see the finish line and you're going to retire. So it is really a sort of different experience each time. Aid's doing pretty well here. He's right to the front of the pack.
These games look so good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Nevada's looking really, really cool right now.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about hot air balloons? Like what was the decision?
It seems like there was a convention in Nevada, and they all collected outside.
They're right by the
festival.
windmills. That's really dangerous.
It seems like a bad idea.
It's weird to see you guys here. I brought my balloon as well.
I ask because I feel like there is actually a pretty strong history of, oh, you got tipped off there, not too good there. I feel like there is actually kind of a weird, strong history of hot air balloons in the backgrounds of racing games.
Really?
And I was wondering if there was a deliberate nod there, or it just seemed like that'd be a cool thing to have there, a bunch of hot air balloons floating around because they look big and dynamic and.
I'm not 100% sure on what the choice was there, to be honest. I think it was...
You have to give depth to your skybox. Somehow.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, a lot of effort's gone into the skybox this time around. There's a lot more detail there because, I mean, you can see on screen that's taken up a pretty big percentage.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little technically about what you guys have changed since the Dirt 3? I mean, like Drew said, this game looks amazing, and the Dirt games for a long time, you guys have really been killing it with the visuals on these games.
Yeah, so in terms of some of the optimizations that we've done this time around, the festival atmosphere type thing is really important to us. So getting that across, the action sports type thing is really important to us. So, Red Bull X Games, that type of arena show has been a big inspiration for us. So the type of lighting that they have there, the type of pyrotechnics and fireworks have been really important in some of our concept art up front, and so how we've looked at making the environments look. So more detail on the skybox. A lot of memory savings have been made so that we can actually fit in the number of particles that are required to have, like, the number of pyro flames that you saw there as Aid went across the finish line. Those things are all triggering as you go across jumps, just right there. So yeah, a number of things have happened to make sure that we can get a lot of particle effects running on screen at the same time without losing the frame rate.
And so that race was significantly different than the one that we saw, other than you winning again, obviously.
Yeah, he won. He's had a lot of demos today, so he's doing pretty well.
not too shabby there, but there was a lot more kind of back and forth that time around.
I think the other optimization that we should mention is the amount of work that we put into the damage this time around. You can see probably by the end of the race that the car is pretty smashed up. The amount of different parts it can break off this time, the degree to which the damage is actually accrued on the car, it's going to look pretty smashed up by the time you're finished. So that's really been pushed a lot, and the team have worked on that. Our physics programmers have had a pretty good time working on that.
Yeah, I was noticing a lot of, errant parts on the track.
Exactly, yeah, you see all that rubble sort of lying around there, and it's fun for the car artists to sort of have fun putting those parts on in the first place as well.
Any more work done into kind of the optics? It was one of the things that really struck me the first time I saw Dirt 2, was the color separation effects.
Yeah, so the RGB split stuff happens if a camera is hit by something on the track, it'll get the RGB split, and it's the same when in-game you're going to hit walls and stuff. That happens again. In terms of the color palette, we've looked a lot at things like Red Bull X Games, some sort of motocross, a variety of different extreme sports type camera work, and really sort of looked at the type of camera effects that they have, the types of camera filters that they use, and tried to integrate that into what we do.
Now I understand we have something else we're going to look at here.
Yeah, we can also look at the Rampage game mode, which is a little bit more of a pure Destruction Derby experience.
All right, well, let's take a look.
Should be fairly familiar.
Yeah, we're back here on some home turf now.
Yeah.
We're not far from that at all. So tell us about the Rampage mode here.
Okay, so this is Rampage. It's one of the Destruction game modes. Basically, the point of this game.
Oh man,
gnarly
Jeez.
damage already. Yeah. Yeah. So the purpose of this is to score as many points as possible, and you score the points by basically nailing your car into the side of the other cars. There's a bunch of different kind of moves that you can pull off. So a T-bone is when somebody hits you right in the side, because it's sort of the weakest point in the car.
Do you guys have any? So I actually am a little bit of a Destruction Derby aficionado.
Okay.
I know guys who are real life Destruction Derby drivers.
Sure.
And so the number one concern that I have is there more strength in the rear end than there is in the front?
Yeah, there is.
Okay, fantastic. Can I put concrete in the door panels to strengthen up my sides?
No, that's sort of a...
Because that is grossly illegal, but people still do this.
Yeah, that's grossly illegal, yeah. Well, in fact, the upgrade system, which will be a part of the career, does actually allow you to sort of increase various sort of characteristics in cars. So strength is one of those things that you can increase. You'll just see there that there's a terminal slam.
Yeah.
So basically another way to, well, the best way for you to score high points is to take out cars. So that's another terminal slam. And it was a ×2 multiplier because you're sort of stringing them together now.
nice. So you want to go for the guys with the red.
You want to go for the guys in the red and take them out. And then there's also a period at the end of the game where you get 30 seconds where you get double points. You get extra points for like first blood to kill the first car. So yeah, there's a bunch of different ways that we've sort of shaken up the rules a little bit.
Well, hey, way to bring back Destruction Derby.
Definitely.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Someone needed to.
There's a bit of a gap there for a while.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that I think people want to play. It's good fun.
I
It's a
will
lot of good fun.
confirm, though, as someone who drives across the Golden Gate Bridge every day, that they will not let you do this down at the base of the bridge. That's not... People frown on that kind of behavior. Just BT dubs.
Are you guys talking about how the campaign will be structured at all? Is it going to be sort of...
Yeah, so the career has 4 main tiers.
Okay.
It's based around sort of a tour of locations, like a traveling sort of motorsports festival. Basically, within each, there are a number of events. All of the game modes are mixed together. So there's that sort of chocolate box experience where you can pick and choose what you want to do. And then each of those, as you win or as you place highly, is sort of letting you push on into the next event. And that all culminates at the Showdown final. And you have to beat the Showdown final to move to the next tier. So
Okay.
there are 4 tiers all in all, and then you sort of beat the tier 4 Showdown to complete the game. And you'll be winning cash throughout that. So, oh, he's won. There you go. First place, brilliant.
Nicely done.
Yeah, you'll be winning cash throughout the game. So that cash can then be spent on upgrades, and then it can also be spent on buying new cars and so on.
Excellent.
Scope and scale of the overall package. Obviously, you see on screen, this is pre-alpha code, so you guys have a ways to go. But just kind of, ballpark comparing to past dirt games, what should folks expect?
Sorry, say again?
Just kind of the scope and scale for
Sure.
Showdown, like what should folks expect?
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of environments, in terms of content, cars, there's really there's a similar amount of cars that there've been in previous titles. That, we've offered as varied a palette of environments and a varied sort of experience with the different types of cars that we've got in there. So we're offering 3 different classes of cars. The ones you can see on screen right now are the destruction cars. So you've got quite a varied mix of different stuff. You've got everything from the hearse right in front right now, and that one as well.
School bus.
The van with the school bus graffiti on the side of it, which is quite cool. So yeah, it's about offering players not just a huge number of cars, but cars that they think are pretty cool, and they can pick and choose the ones that they think sort of suit their personality as well.
What was the kind of the driving factor behind deciding which cars to include in this mix? Because, like you said, it is quite varied.
Yeah, so It's to do with a little bit to do with gameplay, a little bit to do with what's obviously cool and going to appeal to people. In terms of gameplay, there are quite big differences in terms of how each car will handle. So the one that we played with today is a saloon. It's quite a sort of middle range car, so you're going to get pretty good agility and movement and handling, but you're also sort of not too light that you're going to be sort of shoved around by the bigger vehicles. The big ones are obviously sort of less agile, but can take more punishment and dole out more punishment, and so on. So those things were part of the choices. We wanted a sort of varied mix in the field at all times, so that was a big influence on it. And then separately, we've got our Hoonigan cars. They're the Gymkhana cars, which you'll probably get to see at some point further down the line. They're all licensed, so they're all sort of real-world cars.
Okay, I was going to ask, so you have some that are just kind of inspired by, and then you've got some that are at like...
Yeah, so all these ones have been referenced from real-life cars, but obviously we've made put our own twist on them, and we've we're obviously afforded much more flexibility in terms of the damage and the types of things that we can do when we're not attached to official manufacturers. So that helps quite a lot.
Well, fantastic.
These kind of modes seem rife for multiplayer.
Absolutely, yeah. So we'll be offering 2-player split screen again, which I think is something that people really appreciate us including, and then 8-player online. And as I said, there's quite a social experience to be had. The career is based on a cash sort of currency that sort of pushes you throughout, and you can get your upgrades and you can get your new cars. But we've actually integrated that with online as well. So we're now providing challenges for players. So if you sort of play a game of Rampage like this and you set a high score, 17,000 I think is the score to beat at the moment. If you set your high score, you can then post that to somebody in your friends list. If they beat it, they get some cash. If they can't beat it, you keep the cash. And then that feeds directly into your career. So it's kind of giving players a bit more of like investment in the online, and a bit of investment in the career as well. So the two things tie up, and it's not like any of the races that you're playing are not adding to things. It all goes away to adding to the experience.
Very cool. So Dirt Showdown. What's it come to? When's it coming?
It's coming May 2012, and it'll be coming to Xbox 360, PS3, and PC.
Excellent. Well, Ian, thank you so much for coming by and giving us a look.
Thanks a lot, guys.
No problem, man. Thanks for having us.